I want you to think about customers as a box of coins. And so here we have a box of coins, and the coins range in value from pennies to dollars. But over half of the coins in that box are pennies. And so the way we're going to do it is, in this situation, you want to grab as many jobs as you can, right? So in this case here, the jobs are the coins. And we're going to say that a jar represents one truck. And how many can you put in there, right? So what's the easiest and fastest way to fill the jar? And that would be to scoop it into the box and fill it up with coins. So now you have a full jar. Now what happens if you try to put more coins into that jar? What's going to happen to them?
Spill out.
It's going to overflow, right? So it's limited. So then we say, well, we're working as hard as we can. What should we do? What does the industry tell us to do?
Add another truck.
Add another truck. So we start adding a truck, and so we're putting more in there, right? What's the biggest challenge we have in a carpet cleaning business? What challenge does every business have to match to survive?
Profit.
Okay, it's profit, but
Cash flow.
what's the hardest thing, and that's why you're all here today, is how do you get customers, right? So what we're doing here is we're saying, let's multiply that challenge, and not enough customers for one truck, but for multiple trucks. So now we're trying to how do we get more and more? It sort of reminds me of that guy that you would see in a circus act, spinning those plates. The more trucks you have, the more you have to keep going back, because what happens is they drop off, they die, move, they change companies for one reason or another. So you kind of have to go back and refill this truck and then that. It's like that guy keeping the plates spinning. So this creates a little bit of a hardship. And so we want to see, is there a better way to do it? But, all right, so let's look back at the box of coins and say, is there a better way to do this than what we had just looked at for scooping? That is the easiest, that is the fastest way, but can we do better than that? So what we want to recognize, first of all, is that the coins have different values. All right, so the way we want to look at it is let's say we scoop in, and just through advertising or whatever, scoop up as much as we can to fill the jar, fill the van. We've got to get that van busy one way or another. So we go ahead and we have the jar full, but what is filling up half of that jar? What's the value of that coin?
Pennies.
Pennies. All right, but the jar has pretty good value. It's kind of mixed of things. But what if, once it's full, we can go back and eliminate all the pennies out of the jar? Okay, so we take out all the pennies, and now there's over half the room available in the jar. Did it change the value of the jar significantly by removing the pennies?
No.
No. Now that's the important thing, because we want to think of, I'm not looking anymore just for the full jar. I'm saying, I'm looking at the value. What is the jar worth? Now let's say we go back and we're going to fill up the jar, but now we're going to fill it with anything that is not a penny. So we go back in and we refill that jar with the silver-looking coins, and what does that do to the value of the jar?
Raises it.
It doubles it.
A lot.
Now what if we then go back and say, well, now let's pull out all the nickels. And then we go and fill it up with anything that's not a penny or a nickel. And then we can proceed through the process of making the value of those coins keep going up. And then once it's filled with dollars, then you can start saying, are there antique dollars? I mean, there's no limit to how high we can take that, as long as we kind of like the soup, what was it called? The
Soup Nazi.
Soup Nazi is supply and demand. That was really the secret. If they're lined up out the door, you are in complete control. As soon as they're no longer lined up out the door to use you, now supply and demand, you're on the losing side of that. So the idea is that if you have that full van, we can now start making it better and better and better, and there is no limit to how high you can take that per van.